This is Red Carpet Fly's News on the Fly, bringing you daily, unique, and interesting entertainment, celebrity, and luxury news. Before we get started, you know what to do. Like, follow, and subscribe to Red Carpet Fly, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single News on the Fly episode. Where does the week go? I swear time is speeding up. It feels like it was just Monday yesterday. Before we hop into these headlines, I would like to take a moment to recognize some of our fallen stars. Rest in peace, Coolio. Coolio, whose real name is Artist Leon Ivy Jr., is an LA rapper that came up in the LA rap scene in the late 80s, but blew up nationally with his 1995 hit, Gangsta's Paradise, which was a song featured in Michelle Pfeiffer's movie Dangerous Minds. Though his cause of death has not officially been released, it is believed that he died of a heart attack. According to CNN, emergency responders answered a call at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for a medical emergency, and they found Coolio unresponsive and performed resuscitation efforts for approximately 45 minutes. However, their efforts weren't successful. Coolio is survived by his children. Again, rest in peace, Coolio. In more news, Trevor Noah calls it quits on The Daily Show. To be more clear, Trevor Noah is leaving The Daily Show. According to Variety, the South African comedian who took over the program from Jon Stewart in 2015 plans to exit the flagship Comedy Central series after a 7-year tenure that saw him transform it for a new generation of viewers who are more at home and on social media than they are on cable outlets and broadcast networks. Noah revealed his plans to an audience at Thursday evening's taping of the program in New York, saying that I loved hosting the show. It's been one of my greatest challenges. It's been one of my greatest joys. I've loved trying to figure out how to make people laugh even when the stories are particularly ishy on the worst days. It is not clear when he will actually exit the show or whether the Paramount Global cable network has begun to consider a successor. For those of you who are worried they may be losing their humorous take on current events fix, the host works with a large circle of faux correspondents that includes mainstays such as Desi Ledeck, Roy Wood Jr., Ronnie Chang, Michael Costa, and Dulce Sloan. Jordan Kepler, who once hosted The Opposition, a show that followed daily, is a regular contributor and has gained traction online for segments in which he visits conservative rallies and asks them questions about the State of the Union. Comedy Central has also been working with Charlemagne the God on a weekly showcase that mixes comedy, commentary, and news. Aw, I'm sad that Trevor is leaving The Daily Show. I think I read somewhere that he's leaving due to his schedule. For those of you who don't know, Trevor still does comedy tours and films comedy specials, all while hosting The Daily Show, which can be really grueling. You know, I remember trying to snag an interview with Trevor Noah when they first announced that he was going to be taking over the show from Jon Stewart. I had known him a few years before he took over The Daily Show because my mom loved stand-up comedy and I had seen a few of his shows. I'm more of a sketch comedy person myself, but Trevor's stand-up material was really good. Anyway, I figured since he wasn't that huge of a celebrity, I could get an interview with him before he became Trevor Noah of The Daily Show. I feel like he immediately got people overnight. I can't remember how I got a hold of his contact information, but I think I spoke to his manager or PR person or someone like that to try to get an interview, and I was immediately denied. They were like, Trevor isn't doing any interviews at this time. And it was crazy because I had just seen Trevor do some comedy show maybe a few months earlier, and it appeared that he was very accessible. It was the weirdest thing. Trevor, like, all of a sudden had people, and they were not trying to let me talk to him at all. Him being the host of The Daily Show was very contentious at the beginning because a lot of people didn't think Trevor deserved the job. The sentiment back then was that there were a lot of Black American comedians that should have been considered for that position, but instead a South African comedian was being tapped for the job to speak about American politics, and people felt a certain way about that. It just further perpetuated the feeling that Hollywood and America in general is obsessed with foreign talent, and people from other countries like England, Australia, and now South Africa get special treatment and consideration for acting gigs because of America's obsession with foreign talent. Oh, and I just want to take credit for Trevor Noah wearing his natural fro. During quarantine, Trevor was doing the show from his house and letting his hair grow out because mainly no one could go to a barber. And I commented below one of his YouTube clips that he should keep his fro because it makes him down with the people, like he's one of us working class Joes. And he kept it. I'd like to think I had something to do with that. I feel like he read my YouTube comment and was like, Alexi said that this is cool, so I'm going to keep it. Anywho, I like Trevor and I will miss seeing him on The Daily Show. However, I wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. So, although I'm a Trekkie through and through, from time to time I keep my ear to the ground about what's going on in the Star Wars realm. So I heard about James Earl Jones winding down his stint voicing Darth Vader, signing over his rights to the character's voice. So my initial reaction is that I'm not excited about this news, and I'll tell you why. If you know the history of Darth Vader, then you know that when James Earl Jones first voiced the character, he only got paid $7,000 for voicing the iconic character for a franchise that is worth $70 billion. Granted, when Jones voiced the character, it was back in the day before the franchise blew up to what it is today, and he thought it was more advantageous for him to take the $7,000 instead of getting shares in Lucasfilms, which resulted in him losing out on making potential millions. So, I read this article with bated breath because I don't want Jones to fumble the bag again. So according to Uproxx and a new piece from Vanity Fair, Matthew Wood of Lucasfilms revealed that Jones, who is 91, has signed over the rights to his voice to the company. Instead of summoning him to the recording booth every now and then, they can simply use AI to replicate his distinctive baritone. Wood said he was looking into winding down this particular character, but he wished to keep Vader alive. In other words, Jones is letting computers take over the job of a character who's part computer himself. Okay, so the article doesn't disclose how much Jones got paid for giving Lucasfilms the right to his voice for Darth Vader. I'm sure he did this because he's getting older. When he played in the sequel to Coming to America 2, you could tell he was very old. And, you know, he's getting kind of frail. So I get it, but something about this just seems sad. I know this is probably petty and just wrong, but Darth Vader would just have to die with me because ain't no way I'm giving out rights to my voice. What do you guys think about this? I looked around and there wasn't much detail surrounding this deal. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Okay guys, so I wanted to discuss something that's been on my mind, and it was actually sparked by the article I covered about Charlize Theron not having Kim Kardashian level of fame. And it's, what's more important, being rich or being famous? This question has been living rent-free in my head because common convention would have us believe that being rich is clearly the correct choice, but I'm not so sure anymore. I kind of avoid these theoretical discussions on this podcast, right? Because they can lead to me rambling on into oblivion, but I thought it was worth taking a look at because this question keeps popping up in my head. Shout out to YouTuber Chelsea Fagan from The Financial Diet because her piece on nepotism babies here in Hollywood was just the nudge I needed to take a deep dive into this discussion. She really has good videos on YouTube about money and wealth and our ideas surrounding wealth creation and where they come from and how they impact us, the working class, and our financial decisions. Her YouTube channel is really good and she's one of my faves. So if you have a moment, go check her out. Anywho, back on track. So why would someone like Kathy Hilton, Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, and Gwyneth Paltrow, just to name a few, who are already wealthy, seek fame? They already are living what the average American would consider a good life or the American dream, just in total anonymity. So why seek fame? My theory is that fame is not only just a huge ego boost because you have people who actually idolize you, but it's a creative way to make a living that doesn't necessarily require an education, and it creates even more wealth. It's true, you can be famous and broke, but that's if you're stupid. I'm joking. I know there are a lot of factors why someone could be famous and not rich, but if you're savvy, you can parlay your fame into a money-making machine, from starring in movies and TV shows, to having brand deals and ambassadorships, to merchandising. And if you come from a family that has money or you're starting with money, you can avoid some of the financial pitfalls that, say, some of, maybe middle-class people might fall into as they cross into the wealthy threshold. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So just to boil it all down, you want to be famous in addition to being rich because 1, people idolize you. 2, There is no special education per se needed to become famous. And 3, being famous is a tool for wealth creation. It's good to be rich and famous, but my theory is that fame is more important because it's worth more social currency, and in today's world, that means a lot, which is kind of what Charlize Theron was alluding to when she said she doesn't have that Kim Kardashian level of fame, and that's preventing her from getting her projects financially backed. And to leave you guys with a little something to chew on, I believe that this social currency has become more important because we're moving away from tangible currency. As we move to more digital monies like cryptocurrency, that is also changing what we value as wealth. Now stay with me because this next part gets a little abstract. Social currency / influence has always been a thing, but I believe as we're moving away from the traditional forms of things like money, work, and even entertainment, that is changing the way we value things and what we consider as wealth. I hate to bring them up, but Kanye talked about this. I have already told you guys that Kanye's conversations and interviews aren't lineal, and you always have to go back and re-listen to them to really digest what he's saying. But when Kanye was making the Donda 2 album, and he was, for lack of a better word, couch surfing with various famous friends before ending up at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, he talked about not having money but still being able to move within these circles and get his needs and wants taken care of within the upper echelon because of his social currency. And that's why rich people want to be famous, because fame can garner you a type of social currency or influence that is worth more than tangible money. I hope I didn't lose you guys with me doing this deep dive. You guys are smart and you probably already figured this out before me, but I just had to share my thoughts. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. If you would like to receive text notifications of when I post News on the Fly episodes or my celebrity red carpet interviews, please send a text to 917-502-4379 and say, I want to get fly text. Once subscribed, you will start receiving text messages regarding a News on the Fly episode or celebrity interviews. Also, if you have a business, product, service, YouTube channel, or social media account that you would like for me to promote on my channel, please email redcarpetfly@alexi@redcarpetfly.com to get rates for advertising. We're growing, guys. You can also find this podcast on Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeart Radio podcast platforms. Just search for Red Carpet Fly, News on the Fly podcast. Lastly, please like, follow, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Red Carpet Fly, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter @Red Carpet Fly. And until tomorrow, always stay fly.